What's up, guys? How you doing? It's Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday. So what's happening? Anything good? I wanted to share something with you. First of all, I just have to say thank you for being here. I mean that. I'm not just saying it for any particular reason. I just want to say thank you for being here. I have a completely different mindset of doing YouTube this time than last time. Last time I was like a young corporate guy who just needed to make a name for himself. And now I feel like I don't care about nothing. I just care about making a video that you guys might like and then interacting with you in the comments. And some people comment, some people don't, but it's okay. It's just enough. I'm enjoying it. So, and if it gets too stressful, I'll have to just say au revoir. But right now, I'm enjoying. I'm not enjoying this weather so much. For 2 days, we've had heavy rain and thunderstorms. And guess what's coming? Look at the sky. See it? It's coming again. Hopefully this time, no thunder. Last night I was sitting in my chair and it started thundering. And then one of them was like, the shock wave was so strong that the jars in my cabinet were vibrating on the shelf. I'm like, what the beep beep? Luckily it only happened about 2 times. Anyway, let's get on with the show. I wanted to share something with you about me building that little Thai house. So where did all that inspiration come from? I think I said this story a long time ago. When I went to from England to the US, I traveled for a while. Yeah, it's coming. I can feel the cold breeze coming. Cold front moving in, wind kicking up. I moved from the UK to the US, and I did IT for a corporate company, but everywhere I looked in the US, you had to have a degree. And that went down like a lead brick. I just thought, you know something? I can work doing IT better than, as good as anybody else. You know, fault finding and fixing, you know, whatever. And you're not going to get that information with a degree. You get the information by doing it and then remembering. You know, you can almost like digest Microsoft TechNet. And I lived in there. And that's how you figure out the hard problems. Anyway, get to the point. I decided to work for myself doing remodeling. So I bought a van, put shelves in it. You know who's here. Loaded it up with tools and remodeled people's homes. Do DIY, you know, fixing, like putting shelves up for grannies and fixing storm doors. I got a couple people who had rental properties and they kept me busy. I worked by the hour. That way, you know, I just said, I'm not good at setting the price because I always undercharge, always. So they said, oh, that's too much. You need to set a price. I says, I'm sorry, if you need me, I'm here. If you don't need me, that's okay too. And I got a lot of work that way. And when I wasn't working, I worked at my own house. But I was working at this one place one time. It was a lawyer's house. It was the lawyer who did the paperwork for me buying my house. His name was, can't remember. I never had red hair. That's all I can remember. Anyway, he contacted me and said, could I remodel his kitchen, build a bathroom in the hallway, and build this monster deck outside? And I said, yes, I can. So, I said to him what I could do in the kitchen, and him and his wife said they were happy with that, so I did it, and they were really happy. I had a little hiccup with the paint. They wanted me to use this crackly paint, and I had no experience. And the cupboards were heavily varnished, and obviously years of fat stuck to the cabinet doors, and I wasn't about to clean them. So I tried, and it didn't work. So in the end, we just painted on top of them, and that worked. But they just wanted it fixed up to sell it. So I and then built the bathroom in the hallway, did all the plumbing, electricity, everything. I did it all myself. And then I was working on the deck outside, and this deck was really big. It was like, from what I can remember, maybe, it had to be like 30 meters long along the house, but it was on and it was like a 12 foot or more wide, but it was on a sloping hill, sloped both ways, downhill along with the house, and then the ground, that is, not the house, and then it sloped away to their driveway. And they wanted, obviously it had to be at the same height as just under the door. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I have an idea, so I started. And I thought the only way I know how I can do this is start at one end, then go to the other end and start there, and then bring it into the middle. And I did that. And I was working, and be careful where I stand. I don't stand on my little friend. I was working, measuring the left and the right to find the middle, the height at the middle, and then to put a piece of wood in, and it was perfect. I mean, perfect in every way. And I'm smart enough to. I always try to kill my ego, so I don't try to get too. I don't allow myself to get big-headed about anything, right? But I looked at it, and I had this like epiphany, like that wasn't me. It was something else. How did that happen? There's too many things that can go wrong, and it came out perfect. And I had a kind of like a chill going up my back, like, is somebody here? You know, in Thailand they say people who work with wood are highly spiritual people. And anyway, I think that day I was. So I talked about this on and off for a while, and my mother told me that her grandfather was the village carpenter in Ombi on the Spittal, I think it's called. Outside, it was about a couple miles out north of Lincoln, in Lincolnshire, England. So I moved over here. I went back for a visit, and we went to visit his workshop, and I took a load of pictures. But I got a picture of him, and I want to include that here. And his workshop. This was the outside of the workshop. The inside was about 2 foot thick of shavings. And it was just old tools, and nobody touched it. Nobody wanted to mess with it. They just wanted to leave it alone. So I started having the feeling that when I was, that somebody was with me. I met him when I was like a couple of 2 or 3 years old, something like enough to annoy him probably. So he'd have been, great grandfather. I vaguely remember going to the village, but I don't remember anything else. And that stuck with me for a long time. And then I built this little Thai house. I got another thing I built since then here, but the story with the Thai house was I came over here in about 2000 to Thailand in about 2010, and I come here for like a week or two, and then I went to Bali for a month, I think, Java for a month or so, and then came back to Thailand and met Jan. We had talked online for a long time. Nothing pervy, and it wasn't in that dating site or anything like that. It was, I forget the name of the website. It's like a global thing. You can meet people from all over the world. And in same any chat room or any, there's a crazy cloud above my head, but I'm still dry. Like any chat room, everything turns to sex, right? But I didn't want to be talking about sex online, so I just, you know, if you want to be friends, we can be friends. And I didn't care if you're male or female. I just said, just be friends. And anyway, Jan and I started talking, and talked for like 2 years or something, 18 months, 2 years. And then I said to her that I was coming to actually I told her we're talking about Buddha in the Tree. I seen that online, and I said, man, I'd love to go see that. She says, that's in my town. Oh, like, no way. So there was, you know, I had to come. So anyway, I left Bali, left Java, come back to Thailand, and got a taxi from the airport to Future Park, and Jan picked me up and took me to a hotel that she booked for me. I paid, inside of a Utia. I think it's the Utia Hotel or whatever. And she took me around and showed me Thai traditional houses. And I was like, wow. So, and it really stuck in my head. So I thought, I have to make one. So here's a little tiny clip. It's less than 2 minutes. Sorry, there's lots of things happening around me. Noises and birds flying and whatever. And it's less than a 2-minute clip. If you want to watch it, you can. It's I put music in it before. This is like I made this years and years and years ago for myself, and I included it. I believe the music in. It's actually from YouTube, and I found it just the other day, and I was like, dude, and something touched me inside, and I was like, the same feeling I had when I built that deck and I felt somebody was around me. When I built I had no idea how to do the curvy roof and all that, but I just kept trying, and I eventually drew it onto a piece of paper, made a template, put that on a piece of wood, cut the wood, shaped it, sanded it, and I did it. So I don't know how, but I figured it out. And so I'm just going to say, I'll close, and you can watch it and leave a comment and tell me what you think, okay? Buckets of blessings, rivers of peace, joy, and kindness. And here is the video. All the very best.